Here are the top 10 most haunted places in the Philippines from popbitsph.com. Number 1. The Diplomat Hotel in Baguio City. The Dominicans built the Diplomat Hotel in 1911 as a seminary. Then it was converted into a school, eventually ended up as a hotel. Rumor has it that when the Japanese conquered Baguio, the nuns and priests who helped Filipinos to flee were all killed and brutally decapitated. As years go by, residents and visitors report hearing screams and seeing ghosts with headless bodies. Number 2. Fort Santiago, Intramuros, Manila. Dare to roam, a historic site that turns into something spooky at night. Before the country was liberated, Fort Santiago was the center of both the American and Spanish colonial governments. The city's historic walls still stand tall and proud during the day, but when evening crawls, they take on a dark, spooky air. Those walls seem to be the haven of some relentless spirits. There have been reported sightings of ghosts of Filipino soldiers in the area. Locals also claim to hear screaming and echoing voices from the dungeons. This isn't surprising given the Japanese tortured and killed countless Filipino soldiers in guerrillas here during World War II. Number 3. Manila Film Center in Pasay City. Have you heard this story when you were young about this film center that was built and more than dozens were buried alive? One eerie night, the film center's ceiling caved in around 3 a.m. on November 17, 1981, trapping dozens of workers beneath its rubble. No one seems to know whether all workers were rescued or retrieved, not even the film center or the Pasay City Police. Lots of people believe that the building is haunted by ghosts of construction workers who died in the rubble as work proceeded on the film center in order for it to be completed on time. Number 4. La Peral Mansion in Baguio City. It was built by the La Perals during the American occupation. Then Japanese reportedly used the mansion as a torture chamber, a garrison. During World War II, countless Filipino women were abused in the bedrooms, while spies were tortured in the living room. A worker reportedly even lost his sanity and committed suicide. This is enough reason for caretakers who claim to have seen apparitions several times to stay vigilant while inside the house. Cab drivers and passers-by avoid traveling down La Peral Mansion's road at dark because of the uncanny sightings which cause a lot of road mishaps. Number 5. The Lambusan Public Cemetery at San Remedios, Cebu. As a public cemetery, it is reportedly a favored haunting place of the dead. When the family members of the departed can no longer afford to pay the rent on the graves, their loved ones' remains are placed in a communal space, or much worse, in a sack. It's known as one of northern Cebu's most desolate and depressing cemeteries. It's impossible not to see skulls and bones just scattered in the area. This one, most likely similar to the rest of graveyards here or any part of the country, remains of those tenants whose relatives are no longer interested to pay the fee are placed inside a sack. Number 6. Bahay na Pula, San Ildefonso, Bulacan. A field in Bulacan still bears the ruins of the so-called Ilusorio House. The blood-colored mansion once stood witness to the Japanese forces' cruelty during World War II. In 1944, the Japanese razed Pampanga's Barrio Mapanique to the ground, murdering all the men. The Japanese troops then enslaved the women, ordering them to carry their loot to the Ilusorio House, which was converted into a military prison. They dragged women from all over Pampanga and Bulacan to the Ilusorio House to rape and enslave them. If any woman refused, she would be subjected to torture or be executed with bayonets. There are apparitions of wailing women and men who were burned alive. Number 7. Balete Drive, Quezon City. All countries have their own version of an urban legend about a ghost lady dressed in white. In the Philippines, the most famous is the White Lady of Balete Drive. Some think the White Lady often seen there is a ghost of a young woman. Some think the White Lady often seen there is the ghost of a young girl who died in a car accident, while others believe it was a young lady who died during the Spanish colonial era. Another story says it was a girl raped and dumped in that area. Number 8. Malacañang Palace, Manila. For some, having a paranormal experience at the palace is more of a luxury than a haunting. It is alleged that several staff have reported seeing a capre in a faceless ghost while on duty. Some people also think that the spirit of the late President Manuel L. Quezon haunts the palace, while others have reported seeing a lady clad in black peering out of a window. Is it just a playful imagination or a teaser to attract more visitors? Number 9. Clark Air Base Hospital, Angeles, Pampanga. The building that now sits abandoned was once used as a military hospital during World War II and the Vietnam War. Residents and paranormal investigators claim that the place is haunted, with reports of hauntings and sightings of soldiers' ghosts. The first floor was a pedia ward. At night, guards heard babies' agonizing cries, an apparition of towering dark figures over walls. Number 10. Balay Negrense Negros Occidental. Thanks to the locals' preservation efforts, this historic home is both a tourist attraction and a museum. But if your visit is purely for leisure or education's purpose, here's a word to the wise. Don't go looking into the mirrors because you might catch a glimpse of something more than you asked for. These are the top 10 haunted places in the Philippines. Happy Halloween! For more interesting stories, visit popbitsph.com.